I woke to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand. Groaning, I rubbed my eyes. "It's my birthday," I muttered. The screen lit up with a message from Emily. "Happy birthday, love. Hope your day is amazing." I smiled, sliding out of bed. "Thanks, Em." But her reply didn't come for another few minutes. That delay felt heavier than I expected. Jack barged in before I could overthink it. "Happy birthday, man." He clapped me on the back. 32, huh? Still young, still single-minded. I chuckled, though unease gnawed at me. "Yeah, I guess." Jack noticed. "Everything okay? You look tense." I shrugged. "Emily's distant today. Just birthday jitters, maybe." Jack raised an eyebrow, but let it go. "All right, if you say so. But don't let her weirdness ruin your day. We're celebrating, right?" Later, while I tried to focus on work, Emily was glued to her phone. I couldn't help but glance over. "Everything all right?" I asked. She glanced up, eyes flickering. "Yeah, just emails." I frowned. "Emails on my birthday?" She laughed softly. "You know me, always busy." I swallowed the lump in my throat and nodded. "Of course." Then I heard her whispering, the words cutting through the quiet room. "Yes, London. Mr. Harrison says it's urgent. I'll leave tonight." My heart stuttered. I froze. "London? Mr. Harrison? Urgent?" "Emily." My voice trembled. She jumped. "What? Who are you talking to?" Just a colleague." Her tone was too sharp, too practiced. I didn't push, not yet. My mind raced. Why the secrecy? Why the urgency? Jack called later. "Happy birthday again. Fancy a drink tonight?" "Sure," I muttered, forcing cheerfulness. I could use a break. Jack leaned back. "Seriously, man, what's going on with Emily? You've been quiet." "Nothing, just she's preoccupied." I struggled to keep my voice steady. Jack's eyes narrowed. "You don't sound convinced." "Listen, I know something's off. Trust your instincts." I swallowed hard, nodding. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe her. But a small, dark seed of doubt had planted itself in my chest. That evening, Emily approached me, holding her purse. "I need to tell you something." I stiffened. "Okay, I have to fly to London tonight with Mr. Harrison. It's a big opportunity for my career." She avoided my gaze. "Tonight?" My voice was tighter than I intended. "That's sudden." "It is," she admitted. "I'm sorry for the short notice, but it's important." "Important for you, right?" I tried to keep it casual, but my stomach churned. "Yes," she whispered. "I hope you understand." I nodded slowly, forcing a smile. "Of course. Go, do your thing." She kissed my cheek and left, and I sank onto the couch. My chest felt heavy. My birthday had turned into a night of confusion and quiet dread. I stared at the phone, replaying her whispered words, her hurried explanation, the way she wouldn't meet my eyes. Something was off. Something I couldn't shake. Jack's warning echoed in my mind. "Trust your instincts." And I realized for the first time that day that my instincts were screaming at me. A birthday I had expected to be simple, happy, and warm had become the start of a storm I couldn't yet see. I didn't know it then, but this night would change everything. I couldn't sleep. Every few minutes, my phone buzzed, but it wasn't for me. It was messages from Emily, short, clipped, all work talk. I stared at each one, reading between the lines, imagining things that might not even exist. I muttered to myself, why did she have to leave tonight? Why so sudden? My phone rang. "Jack." "Hey man, how's the birthday hangover?" His voice was light, but I could hear concern under it. "Not great," I admitted. "She's in London now. I can't stop thinking about everything." "Everything meaning?" I exhaled sharply. The trip. Harrison. It's all wrong, Jack. Something feels off." Jack was quiet for a moment. "I get it, but you can't let your mind run wild. Breathe. Trust your instincts, sure, but don't let suspicion ruin you." "I'm trying," I said, though I wasn't. I keep replaying our last conversation. She was evasive. Her eyes, it didn't match her words. Jack's tone softened. "I know, man. But remember, not everything is betrayal. Maybe she really does need this." "I want to believe that," I whispered. "But I keep thinking about our trip to Lake Windermere last summer. Remember that? How happy we were." Jack chuckled. "Yeah, you two were inseparable. That was a good time." I gritted my teeth. It feels like a lifetime ago. Now, every memory twists into something painful. Painful, Jack asked gently. Yeah, like everything I trusted is fragile, I said. I feel powerless. And I hate feeling powerless. Then do something productive, he suggested. Don't obsess over what you can't control. Focus on your life. Work. Friends. Anything. I rubbed my face. Easier said than done. The hours crawled. At work, I couldn't concentrate. Every email, every meeting reminded me she was gone. My thoughts spiraled, circling back to her. I imagined her with Mr. Harrison, laughing, close, smiling. The image stabbed me more than any words could. During lunch, I couldn't resist checking social media. My thumb froze on Emily's profile, and then my heart stopped. A photo. Emily and Harrison, arms almost touching, smiling at the camera on some business trip. I slammed my laptop shut. No. Jack called again. You sound off. What happened? I held the phone tight. I saw a photo. Them together. Smiling. Too close. He exhaled slowly. Damn, man. I'm sorry. That's rough. But take a moment. Don't act rashly. I can't, I admitted, voice trembling. I feel angry. Betrayed. Everything we had, it feels tainted. Jack's voice was steady. I know. It's like a punch in the gut. But right now you have to think. Confronting her immediately may hurt you more. Watch, wait, and think. Control what you can. I don't know if I can wait, I said, pacing. Every second, I imagined things worse than reality. Then write them down, Jack advised. Get them out. Don't let them rot in your head. You'll feel a little lighter. I grabbed a notebook. Maybe you're right. Hours passed. I scribbled thoughts, questions, anger, heartbreak. I remembered how she used to kiss my forehead, how we laughed over burnt pancakes on Sunday mornings. Every memory now twisted with suspicion. I trusted her, I whispered aloud. And I don't know if I can again. Jack's voice lingered in my mind. Control what you can. By evening, I realized something. Life as I knew it was over. I couldn't go back to the way things were. I had choices: confront, forgive, or plan my response. I need clarity, I said to the empty room. I can't just sit here. I have to decide how I respond. I stared at the photo again on my phone, feeling the weight of betrayal and disbelief. Every smile, every laugh in that image was a knife twisting my chest. Emily, I muttered, voice low and tight. What have you done? Jack's earlier words rang louder than ever. Trust your instincts, but don't lose yourself. I knew I couldn't. I had to be strong. But anger, heartbreak, and confusion churned inside me. The trip had shattered my trust completely, and I was left standing in the wreckage of everything I thought was safe. Tonight, I realized life would never feel the same again. I couldn't wait any longer. My hands shook as I dialed Emily's video call. The screen lit up with her smiling face, but it didn't reach her eyes. Hey, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Hey, she replied, breezy, almost too casual. Everything okay? Everything? Emily, don't lie to me. I saw the photo. My voice cracked. Harrison, London. How long? Her smile faltered. She glanced away. It's work. A project. That's all. That's all. I leaned closer. You're smiling at him like he's someone more than a boss. You said it was professional, but your eyes, my voice caught. Don't lie. I'm not lying, she snapped, eyes briefly flashing. I've told you it's work. Nothing else. You're overreacting. Overreacting. I shouted, my chest tight. I see the texts, the meetings you forgot to mention, and the pictures, Emily. You're telling me I'm overreacting? She bit her lip. You're imagining things. You know how work trips go. People smile. It doesn't mean anything. I trusted you. I almost yelled. I trusted you with everything. And now I can't even believe my own eyes. Emily sighed. I can't control how you think, can I? I told you, it's professional. Stop turning this into an accusation. Her calmness, her control, made my blood boil. Control, I said, voice low and trembling. You've been controlling this whole marriage, haven't you? Making choices, hiding things, leaving me out. I haven't hidden anything, she said, sharper now. You always jump to conclusions. You don't understand business. You never have. Business? I spat, smiling like lovers in a photo, hugging in a lobby, and I'm supposed to think it's business. Emily's gaze flickered just for a second. Then she looked away. You're making this ugly. Stop. I swallowed hard, try to regain composure. Is this how it's going to be? I confront you, and you deny everything. And I'm supposed to accept it. You need to calm down, she said, voice cold. You're imagining drama that doesn't exist. I'm leaving it at that. Fine, I said, shoulders slumping but my fists clenched. Fine, if that's how it is. But I don't know if I can trust anything anymore. Our marriage, I don't even know what it is. She looked at me like I crossed a line. I can't help that. I'm not responsible for your insecurities. Goodbye. The screen went dark. I sat frozen for a long time, staring at the blank screen. My chest burned. Rage, heartbreak, confusion. They all mixed together, impossible to separate. I wandered through the house, touching the walls, the shelves, the pictures. Every corner held a memory. Her laugh echoing in the kitchen, our arguments over silly things, our late-night talks. Each memory now felt like a betrayal. I sank onto the couch. I can't believe this. How could she? I whispered aloud. Everything we built. Jack's voice echoed in my head from earlier conversations. Control what you can. Think before you act. I reached for my phone. Jack, I muttered. I can't. I don't know if I can just sit here. His reply came quickly. I know, man. I know exactly how it feels. But don't do anything you'll regret. Revenge is a fire that burns you first. I don't care, I muttered. I feel like I need to do something. Take control. You need to think, Jack said. Not act blindly. But yes, use this as a turning point. Focus. Channel the anger. Don't let it consume you. I paced. Every step a mixture of fury and despair. Channel the anger, I whispered. Maybe he's right. Maybe I can't undo what she did, but I can decide what I do next. I can. I will control something. The night stretched long. I stared at her picture on the wall, the one from our anniversary. I trusted you, I said quietly, voice breaking. And you threw it away. My hands clenched again. My mind raced with possibilities, plans, ideas. Not immediate revenge. Not rash actions. Something calculated. Something that would give me power back. I sank back into the couch, exhausted, but my chest felt sharper now, more alive. Determined. Rage had turned into resolve. Jack's voice lingered. Channel it. Be smarter than them. Yes, I whispered. I will. I have to. And for the first time since seeing that photo, I felt the dark seed of purpose take root in my chest. This was not the end of the story. Not for me. I couldn't stop thinking about Emily. Every detail, every message, every evasive word replayed in my head. I needed answers. I called one of her colleagues, someone she mentioned casually last year. Hi, this is Mark, the voice said. Mark, yes, it's James, I said, my voice tight. I just wanted to check something. How's Emily doing over there in London? She's fine. Busy with meetings, he said casually. Meetings or social events? I asked, trying to sound casual. There was a pause. Well, she did attend a few dinners with Harrison. Company events. Dinners. My heart pounded. Was it work-related? Mark hesitated. Officially, yes, but seemed more informal. They laughed a lot, looked close. I thanked him and hung up. My hand shook. Close like that. I muttered. Jack's voice echoed in my head. Control what you can, think before you act. I decided to dig deeper. I called another friend of hers, Clara, someone Emily trusted. Clara, it's James, I said, trying to keep my tone light. I'm checking in about Emily. Any idea about her schedule? Meetings, dinners, anything unusual? Clara hesitated, then sighed. James, she mentioned Harrison invited her to a couple of private dinners. Said it was important for networking. She sounded excited about it. Excited. That word stabbed me. Private dinners? I asked again, my voice lower. Yes. She didn't say more. I don't know. Maybe she's happy with work. I slammed my hand on the desk. Happy with work? I whispered. Or someone else. Jack's warning returned. Revenge will hurt you first. I paused. He was right. Anger surged, but I had to think. I couldn't let it consume me. At work, I met Sophia for the first time. She had just joined our team. Smart, empathetic, her eyes seemed to notice more than most. James, you okay? She asked, seeing my tension. Yeah, just personal stuff, I said, shrugging. You look like you've been carrying it for days, she said gently. Sometimes talking helps. I laughed bitterly. Talk? About what? Betrayal? Life falling apart. Sophia didn't flinch. Exactly. If you don't confront it, it confronts you later. I write my thoughts down. Helps me see things clearly. Right? I muttered. Maybe I should. You should, she said, even if it's just for yourself. Reflection can be more powerful than revenge. Her words lingered. I went home and pulled out a journal, pen shaking in my hands. I wrote everything. Anger, betrayal, heartbreak. I let the thoughts flow without judgment. Emily at work events, smiling at Harrison. Her lies about meetings. The text, the secrecy, the evasive eyes. I poured it all out. Then I wrote about my own reactions, my fear of losing control, my urge to lash out. Each word felt heavy, but also freeing. Sophia's voice echoed in my mind. Reflection can be more powerful than revenge. I realized something. My rage, if unchecked, would destroy me before it touched her. I had to rebuild myself first, regain clarity. The next day, I contacted another colleague, subtly asking about Emily's meetings. Every answer hinted at small betrayals, white lies, subtle manipulations. The more I learned, the angrier I became, but also calmer. Anger. I muttered aloud, staring at my reflection. It's a tool, not a weapon against myself. I began planning differently. Not revenge, not yet, but a path to regain control. My life couldn't revolve around her choices anymore. Sophia noticed a shift at work. You seem lighter today, she said. I am, I admitted. Not free of pain, but I see things differently. Less like a victim, more aware. That's good, she said, smiling gently. Awareness is the first step toward strength. I nodded. I guess I needed someone to remind me of that. To help me see beyond the betrayal. Jack's voice lingered too, a constant guide. Channel the anger, be smart, think ahead. I returned to my journal that night. I wrote about Emily, yes, but also about myself. My fears, my hopes, my next steps. I realized that the journey wasn't just about her betrayal. It was about reclaiming myself. And in that process, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. A spark of clarity, a glimpse of control. The shadows of deception were still there, but they no longer completely engulfed me. I whispered to the empty room. I can't undo her choices, but I can choose how I respond. For the first time since this all began, I felt the smallest flicker of hope. The road ahead would be long, but I was ready to walk it, with thought, with purpose, and slowly, with myself again. I sat in my apartment, scrolling through Emily's social media feed. Her pictures with Harrison, smiles, arms close, champagne toasts, burned in my mind. The arrogance was striking. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. Jack's voice came over the phone. You look tense, man. Don't let her post control you. I can't help it, I said, my voice tight. Every picture, every post, it's like she's flaunting it. You have to choose your path, he said. Confront her publicly, report her to work, or do nothing. You can't let it eat you. I know, I admitted, but every option feels wrong in some way. I want her to feel it, Jack. I want her to realize what she's done. You want revenge, he said plainly. And revenge is a fire that burns you first. I rubbed my face. I know that, but I can't just watch her act like this. Then focus on yourself, Jack said. Build your life. Be better. Let her mistakes catch up naturally. Karma has a way of working. I hung up and poured a drink. Sophia's words echoed in my mind from earlier conversations. Obsession with revenge will destroy you faster than her betrayal. I sighed. Maybe they're right. I whispered aloud. Maybe I don't need to fight her directly. Maybe I need to fight for me. The next morning, I went through my routines differently. I worked out, focused on emails, projects I'd been neglecting. Every small success felt like reclaiming control. Sophia noticed. You look calmer today, she said. I am, I admitted. Still angry, but I feel like I have some power again. You're learning the hardest lesson, she said. Revenge doesn't always mean striking back. Sometimes it's surviving with dignity, letting the consequences unfold. I nodded. I think that's what I need. Not to confront her, not to expose her, just rebuild myself. Let life deal with her recklessness. She smiled. Good. That's hard, but it's stronger than you realize. During lunch, I watched Emily's posts again. Each one was more extravagant than the last. Gala dinners, networking events, selfies with Harrison. Her hubris was almost cartoonish. I whispered under my breath, "You're reckless, Emily. You don't even see the storm coming." Jack called again. "How are you holding up?" "Better," I said. "I'm thinking strategically now. Not reacting. Not obsessed. Just observing." "That's good," he said. "You're growing, man. Don't let her arrogance tempt you into mistakes." "I won't," I said firmly. I realize that now. Anger still burns, but it's not in control. That evening, I sat with my journal again. I wrote about Emily, about my anger, about the temptation to act rashly. I wrote about my goals, my growth, my future. Every word anchored me. "I won't let this ruin me," I whispered. "I'll let her mistakes catch her, but I won't be dragged down with her." Sophia's advice returned to me. Life is about surviving with dignity. I felt a strange calm. The fire in my chest hadn't disappeared. It was still there, but now it was focused, controlled. Not wild, not destructive. I realized something crucial. Power wasn't about making her suffer. Power was reclaiming myself, taking back control of my life. Jack's words echoed again. Build your life. Let the rest fall where it may. I made a decision. No public confrontation. No exposure. No dramatic scenes. I would work quietly, rebuild, strengthen my life, and watch the natural consequences unfold. "Let karma do its job," I muttered. "I'll do mine." For the first time in weeks, I felt a flicker of hope. Anger was still present, but it was no longer a leash. I had shifted from reaction to strategy, from pain to action. The next days passed with routine, focus, and discipline. Each small success reminded me that my life didn't have to revolve around her deception. I could create something strong, independent, and untouchable. And as I watched Emily's posts, her arrogance, her reckless confidence, I realized something almost satisfying. She was blind to the consequences already waiting. I smiled faintly, not out of cruelty, but from a sense of control I hadn't felt in weeks. "You may be reckless, Emily," I whispered, "but I won't be broken. Not by you. Not by this." For the first time, I felt truly prepared. My path was clear. My life was mine to reclaim. And the fire inside me, it was no longer destructive. It was guiding me forward. I woke up early, sunlight spilling across the floor, and felt lighter. Not completely free, not completely healed, but calmer than I had in weeks. I poured coffee and stared at my reflection in the mirror. "You're stronger than yesterday," I muttered. Sophia called mid-morning. "Morning, James. Ready for lunch?" "Yeah," I said. "I need the break. Been working nonstop." "You sound different," she said gently. "Calmer. More in control." "I am," I admitted. "I've realized I can't waste energy on her games anymore. Focus on me instead." "Good," she smiled. Self-respect is underrated. At work, I tackled projects I'd ignored, emails piling up, meetings rescheduled. Each completed task was a reminder I could rely on myself. "James, this report is solid," my manager said. "Your focus shows." "Thanks," I said. "I'm refocusing." During a break, I checked Emily's social media. The smug photos and laughter still burned, but something else caught my eye. Comment from colleagues, subtle but critical. "Interesting approach," one wrote. "Not sure that aligns with company ethics," another hinted. I leaned back. Karma, I thought quietly. Not my doing, but the universe balancing itself. Sophia appeared at my desk. "You noticed?" she asked softly. "I did," I said. "Her arrogance is becoming her weakness. People see through it." "You've come far, James," she said. "Don't let it consume you, though." "I won't," I said, "but it feels satisfying. Not revenge, just balance." That evening, I received an invitation to a social networking event. Alone. Normally, I dread it, but tonight felt different. Sophia offered to come along. "I'll be your support," she said. "You don't have to," I said. "I want to," she replied, eyes gentle. "And it's more fun together." At the event, I moved through the crowd with confidence, introducing myself, listening, engaging. Compliments flowed, not empty flattery, but genuine acknowledgement of my poise and demeanor. James, you handle this well, a colleague said. Impressive composure. Thanks, I said. I've been focusing on growth. Sophia noticed my ease. See? You're reclaiming your space. Your presence matters. I smiled, feeling a warmth I hadn't allowed myself in months. Yeah, it does. I almost forgot what that felt like. Later, as I stepped outside for air, I caught sight of Emily in a live video on social media. Harrison beside her, smiling. But something was off. Hesitation, forced laughter, quick glances from others. The facade cracked, even subtly. She's faltering, I whispered. Not because of me, but her own choices. Sophia appeared beside me. You're noticing, aren't you? But don't let it tempt you into watching obsessively. I know, I said. It's just relief. She's not invincible. We walked back inside together. She stayed near me, a comforting presence, neither romantic nor distant. Her support grounded me. Jack called later that night. How's the new you? He asked, voice teasing. Better, I said. Strong. Focused. Less obsessed. Good, he said. Reclaiming yourself is the hardest battle. Glad you're winning it. I leaned back, thinking, it's strange. The betrayal hurt more than I expected. But the lessons, resilience, self-respect, the power of emotional strength worth it. You've grown, Jack said. Keep going. Don't lose momentum. I won't, I said, and I'm not waiting for a downfall. But seeing it unfold subtly, it reminds me I made the right choice. I returned to my journal, pen moving easily. I wrote about the day, the conversations, the relief, and the satisfaction that came from growth rather than vengeance. The words felt lighter, freer than they had weeks ago. Betrayal is painful, I whispered aloud. But self-respect is powerful. Sophia's voice echoed in my mind. Focus on yourself. Everything else follows. I realized I was no longer defined by Emily's actions. I was reclaiming control of my life. Anger was still there, but it was tempered, controlled, useful, not destructive. At the end of the night, I glanced at her social media one last time. The cracks were clearer, her confidence less flawless. I felt relief, but also gratitude for the lesson, for my own strength, for the clarity I had earned. I smiled faintly, journal closed. I'm reclaiming my life, I said softly. And this time, it's truly mine. I was at my desk when the messages started blowing up. James, did you see the news? Sophia's text flashed on my phone. I frowned. What news? I typed back quickly. Emily, she replied. Her company just released a statement about, well, the gala incident. She's being reprimanded publicly. I felt a strange mix of shock and relief. Let me see. I pulled up the online article. Emily's face stared back, a professional smile, frozen mid-laugh in one photo. The caption explaining her negligence at the gala. Mismanaged client accounts, breaches in protocol, and leaked confidential information. My heart clenched, but not with satisfaction. More with confirmation. Karma was unfolding naturally. Jack called moments later. I heard, he said casually. Tough day for Emily, huh? Yeah, I said, keeping my voice neutral. But it's not my doing. Just the way things work out. You handled yourself well, he said. No gloating, no public attacks. That's maturity, James. Control. I nodded, staring at my reflection in the darkened screen. Control, something I've been chasing for weeks. Finally feel like I have it. Sophia appeared at my side in the office later, her expression careful. You're okay, right? She asked. I am, I said. Relieved mostly, but there's sadness too. Seeing someone I trusted unravel. It stings, even if they brought it on themselves. I get that, she said. It's normal, but you've grown stronger through it all. The rest of the day passed in a haze of messages and whispers. Colleagues discussing Emily's public reprimand, clients questioning her integrity, her reputation slowly tarnishing. And I watched quietly, neither celebrating nor mourning, just observing. That evening, I decided it was time to speak to her one last time. I called her, heart steady but mind alert. James! Her voice trembled slightly over the line. Emily, I said calmly. I saw the news today. Yes. I didn't mean for. Stop. I interrupted gently. You don't need to explain or justify anymore. I understand what happened. I saw the choices you made, the consequences that followed. I'm sorry, she whispered. I never want to hurt you. I inhaled deeply. I know you didn't. But it's not about apology anymore. What matters is we've both been through our paths. I've learned mine, and you're learning yours. She paused. Or are you angry? I admitted softly. Anger doesn't disappear overnight, but it's no longer in control. You face consequences, and I've faced my own growth. That's enough. I miss us, she said, voice breaking. Can we? No, I said firmly, but without malice. We can't go back. What we had, it's over. Not because I hate you, but because I've realized my worth, my strength. I won't trade that for someone who betrayed trust. There was silence on the line, heavy and final. I understand, she whispered. I hope you find happiness. Thank you, I said. And I hope you learn from this too. Not from me, but from the life you've built around your choices. I hung up and let out a slow breath. A weight lifted from my chest, replaced by something lighter, calm acceptance. Jack called again. Well, he asked. I spoke to her, I said. No rage, no confrontation, just closure. Calm. Acceptance. Good, he said. That's what maturity looks like. You're stronger than you think. Sophia appeared a moment later, smiling softly. You look different, she said. Calm, at peace. I am, I said, glancing out the window. I've learned that karma isn't about my hand delivering it. It's life correcting itself. And I don't need to be part of the punishment to feel relief. You've truly reclaimed yourself, she said. It's inspiring. I needed to, I admitted. All those weeks of rage, doubt, betrayal, they were teaching me. I had to channel them into something meaningful, not destructive. Sophia nodded. And you did? That's growth. I reflected on the months that had passed. Emily's lies, the secretive trips, the betrayals, they had hurt me deeply. But my response, my patience, my choice to rebuild instead of retaliate, that was victory. Real victory. James, you're glowing, Sophia said gently, teasing. I smiled faintly. Not glowing, just steady, grounded, ready for whatever comes next. The news updates kept coming. Emily's professional circles whispering, her reputation eroding subtly but surely. I didn't gloat. I simply acknowledged the natural balance. Life was taking its course, and I had chosen the path of dignity and growth. That night, I sat with my journal again, pen moving effortlessly. I wrote about closure, about calm, about the strange relief of seeing justice served indirectly. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt complete. Jack's words echoed in my mind. Strength isn't about revenge. It's about surviving with dignity. I whispered softly to the quiet room. I survived. I grew. And I finally understand the power isn't in punishing others. It's in controlling yourself. For the first time in months, I smiled without restraint. Anger had faded, sadness softened, and a sense of mastery settled within me. Emily's downfall was real, but it no longer defined me. I had grown stronger, wiser, and free. And in that freedom, I found something unexpected, peace. I woke up to sunlight spilling across the floor in a quiet apartment. No chaos, no tension, just calm. I brewed coffee, and for the first time in months, I felt whole. Sophia called mid-morning. Morning, James. Got time for breakfast? Yeah, I said. I was just thinking about everything. Everything, she teased softly. Try not to overthink. I can't help it, I admitted. The last month's betrayal, anger, everything. I keep replaying it, but in a different way now. Not with pain, but clarity. Clarity is good, she said gently. You've grown, James. I can see it in you. I hope so, I murmured. I don't want to be the same person who let betrayal define him. I want something better. At breakfast, we laughed over small talk, jokes, mundane chatter, and I realized how light it felt. The weight of Emily's lies, her arrogance, her choices, it didn't crush me anymore. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? Sophia asked cautiously. I don't know if forgiveness is necessary anymore, I said slowly. I accept what happened, but I won't tie my happiness to her actions. That part of my life. I closed the door. That's mature, she said softly, smiling. Later, Jack called. How's the new chapter? he asked, voice teasing. Different, I admitted, but better. I've been focusing on growth, career, health, emotional strength. It's a lot, but it feels right. Good, he said. I'm proud of you. You've turned pain into power. Not everyone can do that. I needed to, I said. I can't waste energy on bitterness. I have to invest in myself. Sophia joined me at the park that afternoon. We walked side by side, the spring air gentle. You're peaceful, she said quietly. Different from before. I like this version of you. I like it too, I admitted. I've realized that self-respect isn't about pride. It's about protecting your heart, learning from mistakes, and moving forward. She nodded, her hand brushing mine. And what about trust? Trust, I asked, smiling faintly. I'll trust again. Slowly, wisely. And when I do, it will be honest. No secrets, no deception. You sound ready, she said. Not just for life, but for something else too, maybe. I glanced at her, feeling something warm, hopeful. I am. I think. I'm ready for honesty, connection, someone who values me as much as I value them. We paused near the fountain, watching the water ripple in sunlight. Sophia, I began, voice steady. I don't know what the future holds exactly, but I wanted to include honesty and maybe. Her eyes softened. I like that too, she said simply. Later, I reflected alone, journal open. Pen moved easily across the page. I wrote about betrayal, growth, and liberation. About lessons learned. Trust wisely. Protect oneself emotionally. And focus on personal growth above all. I remembered Emily. Not with rage, not with longing, but as a chapter in my life that taught me resilience. I no longer needed to dwell on anger. It was a tool I had used and now set aside. Jack's words echoed in my mind. Strength is measured by what you build, not what you destroy. Sophia's gentle voice joined the thought. Invest in yourself, and life will return in kind. That evening, I attended a small gathering with friends. Laughter, conversation, clinking glasses, normal life, simple life, but fulfilling. James, you're glowing, someone said. Thanks, I said, feeling the warmth of acceptance, of peace. I'm finally free from what held me down. Sophia leaned close. And ready for what's next, she said, eyes bright. Yes, I said softly. And I feel ready. Not just surviving, but living. We left the gathering together, the city lights twinkling around us. This feels good, I said. It does, she replied, matching my pace. You've worked hard for this moment. I have, I said. Every painful step, every sleepless night, every doubt, it led here. To a new beginning. We paused at the bridge, looking at the river below. It's funny, I said. I thought losing her would destroy me, but it rebuilt me instead. Stronger, wiser, calmer. And now you can choose, Sophia said. Choose happiness, choose trust, choose love. I will, I said, taking a deep breath. I've earned it, and I know exactly what I want. Honesty, respect, and someone who stands with me, not against me. Her hand found mine again, gently, naturally. Then let's step into this together, she said. I smiled, feeling a full sense of liberation. Together, I agreed. That night, I closed my journal. No rage, no longing, no regrets. Only gratitude for lessons learned, for growth earned, for a life reclaimed. And as I looked toward the future, a soft hope settled over me. Tragedy had brought pain, yes, but also transformation. And now, finally, I could live freely, fully, and with an open heart. Here's to new beginnings, I whispered, smiling at the quiet room, at the life I had rebuilt, and at the promise of tomorrow.